Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while and there's a lot been going on in our lives in the past couple of months. We've done a lot of traveling, a lot of traveling honestly, but today is October 20th and I am done with travel weddings for 2021. So really excited about that because that means I can just focus on stuff here. I'm actually done with weddings as a whole for 2021. So that's awesome. Really pumped about that. So I'm just focus on some regular sessions, senior sessions, family sessions, and then get ready for the holidays because it's almost the holiday season. So I put an Instagram poll out a few weeks ago. It might have honestly been a month by now. But I asked you on my Instagram what vlog you wanted to see next, and I told you guys I would just do myself, just like a regular old sit down fireside chat with you guys. And so I gave you a few options and you guys overwhelmingly said that you wanted to see me do a vlog over 5 things I didn't expect about marriage. And let me preface this with, I am not a marriage expert. My husband and I have only been married for a little over 3 years, so I feel like that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. But for all you newlyweds out there or ladies that are about to get married or hoping to be engaged soon in this holiday season, I just wanted to give you kind of just some things that I wasn't expecting about marriage. And nothing of it is bad, but I will say that I went into marriage very, not blind, but while we were the last of our friends to get married, our friends had still only been married for a little bit. And so we really didn't have anyone our age to kind of say, hey, this is what marriage is like. And we didn't really have a ton of friends who had been married for a long time because most of our friends were our college age newlywed friends. So all that being said, I just wanted to come real quick and talk about 5 things that I didn't expect about marriage. First thing, everyone's like, oh, you're in the honeymoon phase, like as soon as you get married. Oh, you're in the honeymoon phase. Just wait until reality hits. And I don't think that's true. I hate it when people say that because marriage is what you make of it. Like, you can be married for 1 month and not be good at conflict resolution, not be good at communication, and your marriage might be terrible. Or you can have been married for 20 years and you have still have a great relationship with your spouse, or you just have those skills that it takes to preserve a marriage like that. And so I don't think that it is reliant on when reality hits or something like that, because if the quality of marriage was reliant on when reality hits or how long you've been married, I don't think people would stay married for very long. So the first thing that I found marriage to be was easy and fun. I did not expect that. A lot of people, like I said, told us, well, enjoy that honeymoon phase because, in like 2 or 3 months, reality will hit and, it won't be that puppy dog goo goo I love anymore. And I was really nervous about that because I really did expect something to start fizzling out come 3, 4, 5, 6 months into our marriage. And we're sitting here at almost 3.5 years of marriage, and I mean, if this is still the honeymoon phase, then sweet, but I don't know if it's just a phase. Sure, we have disagreements, and sure, we don't see eye to eye on everything, but that's life. Like, that's how you stay in a relationship, is you communicate with someone, you're honest with your spouse, and you maintain that trust and that source of communication. And that's what makes marriage so great, is we can disagree, but we still love each other. It's actually really funny that I'm making this video right now because last week was probably one of the toughest weeks of our marriage. I was in a really rough state of mind and just quite a few things went on. We're in the process of trying to buy a home, and the one that I really, really, really was in love with, literally hours before we were going to put an offer in, someone else put an offer on it. And it was gone just like that after I'd been on the market for 4.5 months with nothing, and so that really sent me down a spiral, just in addition to other things. And we got caught up in some bad airline drama. All that being said, last week was really rough on our marriage, and I didn't handle my emotions very well because I just didn't know how to process them, because I do process externally, my emotions just come out as they are. And sometimes I don't stop to think like, hey, could this hurt my spouse, or could this hurt the person, you know, someone else. So I felt like I brought Ian down a little, and we had some, you know, good talks, and he was like, hey, you have to stop acting like the world's ending, stuff like that. And we just went back and forth a little, but we still love each other, and we got through it, and we're still married, and we're still very in love. And so I just think that that honeymoon phase is not necessarily contingent on, you know, the amount of time you're married. And I think that's the beautiful thing about marriage, is you make it what you choose to make it. So that was really a really long tangent, but the first thing, to wrap that up, the first thing that I did not expect out of marriage was how easy and fun it is. The second thing, kind of going into, like, back to my original point, was how humbling it would be. You guys, I am just shook at how humbled I am by so many aspects of our marriage, because I've never been someone who's like, oh, all the attention's on me. You know, I'm the center of attention. But especially when you're married, like, you can no longer think of yourself before your spouse, or you know, you have to think of them first, and how this will affect them first, because I think that's, you know, the face of God, is you think of God first, then others, you know, others being your spouse, then yourself. And so it's very humbling when not only do your life decisions obviously affect you, but you have to think about how they affect your spouse, and how they'll react, and how what kind of effect it'll have on their life. And even just like big decisions, obviously, like where to move, what jobs to take, and even down to the little, like, where do we go for dinner, things like that, and who scoops the litter box, who folds the laundry. And it's not like we divvy that up necessarily and have our own chores, but it's just like, if I choose to not do a chore, how does that affect my husband's life? And it's just very humbling to really have a need to think of someone so important before yourself. I don't know if that makes sense, and I hope it doesn't make me sound super, like, self-centered, because I feel that I'm not self-centered, which makes me sound self-centered, and now I'm rethinking my thoughts about me not being self-centered. Anyways, all that to say, marriage is just so very humbling. It really does force you to just think about how beautiful the picture of God is, because marriage certainly is that picture of our relationship with God. And it's so humbling to think, not only my duty, but my honor to serve this person the way Jesus serves us. The third thing, I was absolutely not expecting. You guys have got to stop asking people when they're gonna have babies. And I know that that's such, like, everyone wants to know, oh, when are you gonna have kids, when are you gonna have kids? I didn't expect also that it wouldn't be from either of our parents. Neither of our parents have been very, like, pressury into, like, for us to, like, have kids. A little bit lately, just because we have been talking about it, so it's just kind of, the conversation comes up naturally, more or less. I have baby fever. I like to talk about babies now, so oops. Not random people, but people that I don't know very well. I'm just like, yo, Karen, that's on your beeswax. So it hasn't been a huge deal, but I just kind of expected, you get married, you take your time, or you don't take your time. Like, you take as much time or as less time as you want to have kids, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. I don't know if I've ever asked someone outside of one of my very, very, very close friends, like one of my 3 or 4 very close friends, like, about babies. And that's because we have a relationship, and it's not coming from, like, chop chop. I actually, when we lived in a different city, we lived very close to my in-laws and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Anyways, they are younger than us, and they had a baby, or they got pregnant and had a baby, obviously before we did or have had. And as soon as a lot of people in the town found out that they were pregnant, I legitimately had people come up to me and they're like, oh, well, you're behind, you know, they're younger than you and have been married for less time than you. You better chop chop, get on that. And I'm like, sis, I don't barely know you, first off. second off, that's none of your business. So ladies, it's so inexcusable, but I guess just get prepared for it. And for anyone out there who is thinking about asking an acquaintance, someone that they barely know, when they're gonna have a kid, please don't. All right, so this fourth thing that I didn't expect was how fast it would go by. I think after I graduated high school, people started saying, oh, you know, the older you get, the more life phases you go through, the faster life will go. And I really didn't believe them, but then it seemed just like that college went by. And then just like that, our, you know, 3.5 years of marriage has gone by. And it's just mind-boggling to me. I'm like, once we have kids, it will go by even faster. And I'm just like, I am someone who likes to dream about the future, who likes to plan for the future, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to hold on to these precious moments. You know, these sweet little moments in our life where we don't have kids and we're just like making little moves, like, you know, job opportunities, where do we move, should we buy a house, you know, like little fun things like that only affect us for now. And I'm just so mind boggled by like how fast it's gone. And I think over the course of our marriage, I think back over the course of our marriage, like I have grown, like we have both grown so much in those 3.5 years, and I am just so shocked at how fast it's gone by and how much we've grown in those 3 years. The person I was the day we got married is a very different person than who I am now, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I've grown in great ways and in ways that I've become a better wife and a better servant of Christ, but I'm just like, where's the time gone? So if you are currently married, about to get married, even if you're just in the engagement, wedding planning, or even like, oh my gosh, if he doesn't propose tomorrow, I am gonna scream phase, just enjoy the time that you're in. Enjoy the life phase that you're in, because you don't get that back. I remember during our engagement, I didn't love being engaged, and I wouldn't go back to our engagement, but I think I would have enjoyed the whole wedding planning process a little more, because I think I was just so consumed with, oh my gosh, I have to plan a wedding and I'm planning in only 5 months. And oh, by the way, my fiance and I are doing long distance across like states. And I didn't really take the time to enjoy the last part of my single life, just having a female roommate, you know, having movie nights and doing facials and painting her nails, and, you know, with my other girls, you know, who I didn't necessarily live with, but who were in my wedding party and very near and dear to my heart, like, you know, just the little wedding planning things, the bridal showers, the bachelorette party. Like, I of course still enjoyed those, but I don't think I soaked those up as much as I wish that I did, just because I was always looking toward to the future. And I remember in our newlywed, I mean, we're still newlyweds, but in our very newlywed days, I was just so like, okay, wow, we're married now, you know, like we have to budget. Like, I was just thinking of all of these like big things, and I rarely stopped to enjoy just like the moment we were in. I was always thinking about the future, planning for the future, and I still do that a lot, but I do try to just take mental pictures of the phase that we're in, just little things we're doing with our life, and I'm just trying to hold on to those and not forget those, because I know that those will be very precious memories to have once it's not just the two of us anymore. So whatever phase you're in, whether you're thinking about getting married or even married for 40 years, just enjoy it and don't take it for granted, because if you're in that relationship and you love that relationship, it's gonna go by fast. Okay, the last thing really cracks me up, and it's about Ian specifically. I always thought in a marital relationship, usually the female, who will probably be the mom, obviously, would be the soft, nurturing, like, softie. And then the dad is usually like the disciplinarian, the, you know, tough, firm. Well, then we got cats. And I remember when we first got Tibbs, Ian would almost treat him like he was like a porcelain doll, and like he would break Tibbs if something happened. And for me, like when Tibbs would chew on something or scratch something that he was destroying, and I was like, dude, that's not for you to destroy. I would give him a little bop on the face or spray him with a spray bottle. Like, I was very quick to do that. And so I realized very quickly that in our parental relationships, I think the roles will be very reversed, because I don't have a problem being harsh and disciplinarian. And especially when Tibbs hurt himself a few weeks ago, Ian was like, oh my gosh, we have to put down like these blankets and towels and pillows and make sure he like la 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 la. And I was just like, dude, he's a cat. Like, he's a wild animal. Long story short, he fell, Tibbs fell, broke his tooth, had to get it surgically, like the rest of it surgically removed. And Ian was just so freaked out over like the idea that he lost the tooth. They had to have surgery, that he had to go to the vet. And I was just like, cat's cat. Like, I love Tibbs. And if anything horrible ever happened to Tibbs, like if Tibbs actually would have died from this fall that happened, I would have been distraught. Like, that would have just broke me. But at the same time, they're wild animals. So I don't know, I'm sure I'll be different once I'm a mom of an actual human. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, kids tumble and fall and scrape their knee and get bloody noses, and I know I did when I was a kid, and I survived just fine. And he already is so Ian's so nurturing and soft and just like lovable. I mean, obviously either way, even if he wasn't nurturing and soft. But anyways, I foresee him being the nurturing softy one of the relationship. So I don't know, that probably doesn't apply to every marriage, but I did not expect that from Ian at all. I hope this hasn't been too long of a tangent. I hope that was a fun little vlog. Let me know in the comments what kind of vlog you want to see next. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Turn the bell on your YouTube account so you can get notifications when I post, hopefully, many more videos. I definitely will have another travel one coming up, documenting my travels back to Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago. So be sure to be on the lookout for that video, hopefully coming up in another week or so. So just don't forget to like and subscribe if you like my content. Bye guys!